How do you go from being the princess of a group of peace-loving ex-warriors to a slave for a group of aliens? Well, today we're going to find out by looking at the New 52 Origins of Starfire. Koriandi'r lived a peaceful life on Tamaran with her older sister Koriandi'r, and Koriandi'r was going to rule Tamaran one day with Koriandi'r as the princess, and everything was fine and dandy and hip and groovy. Then everything changed when the citadel attacked. The people of Tamaran had no defenses. They'd long ago relinquished their warrior ways. They had no way to fight back. They found out that Koriandi'r was set to rule, and as a result would be a very inexperienced queen, so it was their plan to work with the Dominators to take over Tamaran by having Koriandi'r as a figurehead in the planet, and then Koriandi'r would banish her younger sister Koriandi'r, so it would set in stone that she was now in charge, and the people of Tamaran would follow her rule. Even though it wasn't actually Koriandi'r's rule, it was the Citadel's rule. Before Kori was banished, they did horrible experiments on the young princess, but she did not let them hear her scream. Her race used to be warriors. This was very, very obvious in Koriandi'r's persona. Kori was taken to a work camp called Takron, and here she used her hate to keep her going. Her hate of the Citadel, her hate of being abandoned by her sister, her hate of being so alone. One day a guard was nice to her, and Kori says, can she have something from this guard? And the guard says, absolutely. So she lashes out at the guard, obviously to try and get something off of him, but this doesn't go her way because lasers shoot out of her hands. And this had never happened before, and this kills the guard. Naturally, other guards come along and stomp Kori into the ground. The experiments started up again, and they were 1,000,000 times more painful than before. But Kori didn't care. She felt the pain and then got over it. She was more concerned about the fact that something had changed within her and she didn't know what it was. One day, slavers came along, and naturally the living shadow of an ex-princess sold for a very high price. The first thing they did was get Kori hooked on a drug. So now she kind of had to stay with these people so she could get her fill of her addiction. But she eventually gets curious and starts making friends with the other slaves on the ship, the SS Starfire. Then at long last, she decides to break her addiction and decides to put her newfound powers to the test. And this is when she embraces how powerful she truly is. Plans were made and she breaks into the bridge of the SS Starfire and kills the commander, while the rest of the ship breaks out into a riot because the slaves were going to be freed. A revolution of setting slaves free took place, led by the warrior princess known around the entire galaxy as Starfire. Then, put simply, one day her ship would crash on Earth on a tropical island. She would meet Dick Grayson, break up with Dick Grayson. Then she would meet Jason Todd and Roy Harper, and Red Hood and the Outlaws would happen. I loved Starfire and Red Hood, especially towards the end of the run. I thought she was such a great character in that book. People were iffy with her when the book first started, and I'll admit I was iffy as well. I even said a comment like, please set her on fire, when I first read it. But no, once I actually got into the book and understood what they were doing with the character, I loved that version of her, that powerful warrior princess who understood her body, understood that she could use her sexuality to get what she wanted. That's such an amazing thing, and it makes her incredibly smart. And because of that, I'm not a huge fan of her current book. In her current book, she's been reduced to kind of a ditz, and she's kind of stupid, and she's been living on Earth for at least 5-6 years at this point, but they're making out like she's just arrived on Earth, so it's just kind of annoying. I don't know, I would have preferred a book where we saw Starfire traveling around the galaxy, freeing slaves and tackling real issues, but just basing it real in the galaxy, like sex trafficking. Starfire stopping sex trafficking in space. I would have loved a book like that, but no, we got ditzy Starfire tries to fit in, and it's kind of weirdly too much like the Harley Quinn book. But for Harley Quinn it makes sense, it just doesn't make sense in continuity for Starfire.
It's super effective!
Okay guys, that is it for today, so what do you think of Starfire? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more history videos. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, support the show by checking my Patreon if you want to see bigger and better and more history videos. And also don't forget to subscribe to my comedy channel if you want to laugh. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics and it is super effective.